Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to another GhettoRig podcast episode. I said that a little messed up. It's all good. Got there over there with Miggy pressuring me and stuff. But yeah, welcome back. For those who don't know, my name is Eddie. This is my co-host, Jay, over here. And behind the camera, working all the buttons, is Miguel right here.
What up?
So yeah, welcome back, guys. Another episode for you.
So...
Jay, you got a lot of stuff. I saw you posting stuff in Discord today.
Yeah, I did post a bunch of stuff on the Discord, a bunch of news things. Just trying to stick to our little plan that we have. But on Tuesday when I left here, went home, whatever, blah blah blah. In the morning, I had to drive to Tampa. So I start driving to Tampa, drive to the highway, blah, so on and so forth. I get off where I need to get off to get to work, and I hear this thing goes. Ta, 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 ta. I was like, damn it, I got a flat tire.
Right.
And then I was
Was
like,
the
all
pop
right.
loud? Could you hear like the pop first?
That sounded like a bullet.
Yeah.
Sounded like a bullet.
It's loud, bro.
And then it was... Ta, 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 ta.
That shit scares the shit out
Yeah,
of you.
and
It's
then
loud.
I'm like, shit, flat tire.
Right.
Damn it.
Yeah.
First thing I do, try to look for that spare. Where the fuck is the spare? I'm questioning myself in my head. Where the hell is the spare?
Was it on the Tesla?
Yeah, it was on the Tesla.
Okay. Is
Yeah,
it
no,
any
the Lexus
different?
would have had the spare.
I get out, and then
Are
I
the
see...
tires any different on the Teslas?
Tires in Teslas, they do have like
foam in it. It's a
special
foam.
tires where they have like this isolation foam to make them more quiet and stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. So, I noticed one thing. I hear the sound, but the tire pressure's not going down. I was like, what the hell is going on?
It didn't go down?
No. I was like, what the hell is going on? I get out. I see this gigantic bolt. Just a bolt sticking out of the
Well,
side
I
of
mean,
the
you can
tire.
show the
Yeah.
show
Yeah,
it to
let
the
me bring it up
pod.
real
Yeah, I have the picture. So I get out, I look at it, this gigantic bolt, and I'm like, here you go, guys. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm like, damn, what do I do now, right? Like, the first thing is to pop that tire off, put a new one on,
Yeah, but that's
continue driving, right?
That's not as easy as it is with this case.
Yeah, especially when you don't have a spare,
You know what I'm interested in is getting the bolt out of there.
Yeah.
How do they do that? Because you're not just gonna like take a hammer to it and like pull it out of there.
So I don't know how it was done, but so I called Tesla because Tesla has a roadside assistance because they don't
Right.
have a spare.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of
roadside
you.
assistance.
I turned that gain all the way down on that mic, so yeah, you don't have to worry about that. maybe.
Roadside assistance goes, I can get somebody to you on the 26th of January. I was like, bitch, it's 23rd of the January. What do you mean you can get someone on the 26th? They're like, yeah. I was like, well, what about towing? Well, like, they're like, we can't tow. We're like, what do you mean you can't? Like, what do I do? I was like, all right, give me some time. Let me figure this out. I'll call you back. So I figure out a place in Tampa. This guy comes in, looks at it, goes, okay, this is not good. And then I'm like,
Well,
hey, it's
your
not.
brother told me that the guy, thought it was just gonna be like a tire change, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
he
didn't
thought it was
know
a tire change,
up
yeah.
until this point. You didn't know that the bolt had gone through the rim.
Yeah, and then I was like, yeah, all right, look, let's just do the tire change or whatever because they're not helping me. So he pops the hubcap off because Tesla cars have a hubcap, but it's an actual rim that's a really nice rim inside. But if you take the rim off, you're going to lose on electricity because of the air drag through the hubcap. So they put these aerodynamic hubcaps to help with the range, right?
I don't believe that does much.
They say it's up to 8%.
Really?
Yeah, they say it's up to 8% of loss of battery distance.
I would take them off. I like the rim underneath.
I like the rims a lot, actually, underneath.
Yeah.
So the guy looks at it, goes, holy shit. He goes, I've never seen anything like this. He goes, I want to take a picture. I was like, well, shit, you and me both.
Yeah, right? You
Yeah.
ever seen some
But
shit like
before that, before I called this guy, I was able actually to drive on a car, because it wasn't that far away from my work, to the garage of my workplace, park the car, and then call him and say, hey, come out. So when he came out, by the time he came out, the tire pressure was still at 32 PSI.
Really?
It's pumped at 40, but it was still at 32 PSI, so it wasn't losing air. So
I'm surprised that the pop was even loud then, because it must have not let out much air.
it wasn't the
Oh,
only...
it probably was just the bolt going through the rim that you
Yeah,
heard.
probably.
Tang!
Yeah,
Of it hitting the rim.
probably.
Because if they didn't lose air pressure, the pressure is usually that big pop you hear when you
Yeah.
have a tire explode, right? So
I've never had a tire explode on me, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
it's a scary
Scary.
situation in the sense where it's just like you're going normal all of a sudden and then it goes pop and it pulls you
Yeah.
and everything. I had a tire on my truck in my first truck, my first car that I had. So when you're going down 28th Street, right? So you're going down 38th heading towards downtown or whatever. 28th Street. Let's say you want to turn right onto 28th. There's a gutter there with a sewer entrance, right? And the slab that the sewer thing has on top of it has all the rebar exposed.
Oh shit!
Like crackhead teeth on the corner, on the edge of that corner, right? So one time I turned too close with my truck, and one of those rebars, boom, right into the side of my tire.
Damn.
That's really fucking.
I consider myself fortunate because I've had like very bald tires and they've never popped on me. They've never broken. Like I've got to the point where you can see the metal lining of the.
That
we all do that.
Yeah, we all done. Usually, it'll pop when there's its compromise. Like for it to pop, those wires need to like break, and then that's.
Yeah, you need to be literally like, and in reality, you're gonna be sliding around with no friction, no traction whatsoever. But for the tire to pop, man, you gotta ride that bitch for a while. And like if it's a good tire and doesn't have any compromises, like literally just you getting it to pop from wear and tear because you've gotten it down that low, you're crashing with that tire from the lack of traction.
You ever seen
before it
I guess
pops?
that's why they get like old tires to drift because obviously it's cheaper and.
Well, yeah, a lot of times they get old tires to drift because they're gonna eat right through them.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Have you ever seen bubbles on tires? It usually happens on the side of the
my
wall.
My truck actually, I had that on one of the tires.
Yeah,
one time.
that usually will happen when that part like pops one of the metal. So there's metal inside the tire, right? Like within the rubber to keep the rigidity and whatnot. If one of them pops, that's when you start getting that bubble. You know what I mean? Because that's air pushing on a rubber, right?
So in a sense, they found like a gap in the webbing of the metal because it's like these metal. I'm just gonna say string, but like it's like think of like rebar for tires in a sense where like they embedded all this metal mesh is the best way to put it inside the rubber of the tire.
Yeah, shout out to that place. The guy comes in once he takes off the hubcap. He goes, I don't know if you're the unluckiest man on earth or the luckiest guy in the world. He goes, I'm the only shop in the entire Tampa that does welding. He goes, I can weld this rim, have it back to you in an hour.
Sounds like to me he was trying to rip you a new booty hole with the fact that he's the only shop that can weld in town. There's no way.
Now, with all that being said, new booty hole or old booty hole, I mean, the whole
sounds
cost...
like you recognize what happened to you, Jay.
No, the entire cost was $650.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, how is it a lot? Think about it. For roadside services to come out, that's $250. He gave me a new tire, with new old tire, whatever. So that's new old tire, and then they had to weld. So the tire itself was $80, so, $250 for him to come out.
Let me explain to you something, Jay, for someone that has that.
Well, what would you think would have been a fair price?
Of a mechanic shop and stuff like that.
Yeah, but what would you think would be fair price for him to come out to you, take your tire off, went to the shop, come back?
Fair rip your ass price would have been $400.
$400?
Yes. You want to hear? Listen.
Okay, tell me.
I've paid to get a door unlocked, right?
Yeah.
That shit was like $200, right? I've been there.
Yeah.
I get it. That's just not worth it either. They come out and in 2 minutes it's dunk and that's it, right? And you just pay $250.
So the thing with this one is you pay for the emergency.
Right? You're paying like an emergency fee, but at the same time, you were able to drive it to work. Like you're stuck on the side of the road. You get what I'm saying? And so it wasn't even that like it wasn't as strong as a pressing matter as you being stuck on the middle of the highway, right? Like
the whole thing is I was in Tampa. I needed to get home.
Right, no,
so for them to do it that day, how many places going to say, okay, I'll do this in like 1 hour?
For him to be like, okay, I'm going to come out to you. All I got to do is pick up this tire, take it back to my shop, change the tire on it, and weld a quarter-size hole for $650? That's expensive.
Well, I mean, $250 for welding, which I think is pretty fair.
No, that's not.
How is that? It's aluminum rim.
That's expensive.
How much do you think the aluminum welder costs?
Bro, it's a quarter-size hole. How long did it take him to do it?
About a solid hour and a half, 2 hours.
To weld the hole?
Yep.
Were you there?
No, it took the whole process about an hour and a half. For him take it off, take it to the shop, come back, put it on.
But you didn't go to the shop with him, right?
No.
Yeah, bro. He got there, put that shit on the side, and waited an hour, and then did it, and then took it back to you. I'm telling you, bro. It's a quarter-size hole. Anyway, not even. It's that little bowl. It's not even a quarter.
I don't think it was a ripoff. I mean, is it a lot? Yes, but I also understand the urgency that I had. I told him, like, I need to get this done.
Because that's why, and that's why he charged you that amount, was because he could see that urgency and see the fact that you're going to be willing to pay. But then, you got a Tesla.
You're talking about $650 versus $400. Now, I understand it's $250 is a chunk of change for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, I'd rather pay $250 and get that shit down in an hour and a half. Do you see what I'm saying?
You think that if it would have been cheaper, he would have taken longer?
He would have taken it a fucking whole day, because think about it. He had to come out to me. That already like I said, fee of $250. So they're never waiving that.
Yeah.
He had to get me a tire, so they're never waiving that. So that right there itself is already $300 some.
It reminds me of when the motor on my car blew up, and I was having it towed places. Like, for example, when it first blew up at work, then towed it to a shop. After that, towing it to that shop, got it towed to a different shop because I moved places because the guy thought it was stupid, man. I remember I went to a shop. It's actually where you go, Miguel. I'm about to rip on your mechanic, right? Because he thought I was stupid, right? I went to the shop, and my car blew up. And at first he goes, "No, man, that's just the clutch making that noise," which sometimes can happen, especially with how my car was, because the clutch was super bad.
Yeah.
Right to the point where it's almost undrivable, grinding gears and shit to get them in. And he's like, "Yeah, it's just the clutch. Like, I can hear the noise coming from the transmission, this and that." And I'm like, "Okay, man. Well, whatever you say, because clutch is like maybe $600 to get installed and everything versus a few $1,000s with the motor, right? Okay, I'm happy." The next day or something like that, I'm like, "Hey, man, so I'm going to order the clutch, this and that, right? How much will it be?" Boom. And he's like, "No, man, it's not the clutch. It's the motor. It's bad." I'm like, "Fuck, man. Okay, whatever." I go over to talk with him. I actually drive all the way the fuck over there because he's 66 and... Fuck, what is it?
It's about...
Almerton, right? 66 in Almerton, something like that. And I go over there to talk to him, and we're looking at the car. I'm talking with him. Boom. Okay, so it's not transmission. It's this. And when we pop the hood, he's talking about it. He goes, "Man, yeah, I'm not surprised it blew up, with all the aftermarket stuff you have done to the car. It's not good for the car, and this and that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Yeah. Like, you did the intercooler, you got this. I'm like, "Bro, none of that adds a single horsepower to this car. What do you, like, what the fuck are you talking about?" Like, he tried to blame me for the car blowing up. "Yeah, because you did all this and this and that." Bro, I didn't do anything that added. I added an intercooler that was a little bit thicker, so the car's getting a little bit of cooler air. Maybe it's breathing a little bit better, but it's not like I did some drastic power improvement and got a tune and did this. No. So that shit pissed me off, and so I was like, "All right, I'm going to a different shop." And I took it to my buddy John, where I got it done for $300.
So what I was saying is, they'll try to scam you over, but the whole idea is like, it's $250 for them to come out, $80 for a tire. That right there is already $330.
But like,
so he wasn't gonna weld something for $70. You know what I mean? Like, on top of that, then there's disposal fees, right?
Yeah, but
like they do disposal and stuff like that. That's already close to $400.
$650 is way too much, Jay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's no way it could have been $400 because their fee is $250 to come out.
Bro, but that on alone, that fee is fucking drastically insane. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, that is insane.
Like,
it could be $150, right?
Exactly. Like, for example, I paid $200, less than $200, like $140 or $160, to have my car towed all the way from where I told you, 66 and 7 Boulevard, down to St. Pete Beach.
Yeah, but how long did you have to wait for it? For the tow truck to get there?
I went with him with the truck, got to the...
No, before the tow truck came. Because usually tow trucks, I've had tow trucks come out because I have like AAAs before. I had tow trucks come out and it takes them like solid 6 hours. And I've learned, so if you guys ever in this situation, when your battery's dead or something like that, when you do have a AAA, you call them and you say, "I am on the side of the road." If you say you're in a parking lot, they're going to take their sweet time.
I set up the tow truck the day before.
Yeah.
So I wasn't waiting on him like that. It wasn't a matter of, "Hey, can you come
That's
right
what I'm
here
saying.
right now?"
Like, this was like out of the blue. I'm calling somebody. Like, "You need to come out."
I
You
get
need
that,
to do
but
this.
$650 is still pretty expensive.
Well, I'm not saying it's cheap.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's cheap, but I
Should
think
have told me, Jay. I would have waited. I would have drove from here. Wouldn't have got you. Would have done all the tire change.
How? I didn't have a tire.
No, I'm saying we would have went, took it to the shop, brought it back, and it would have cost you $100.
Well, I didn't know that it needs a weld. I thought it's just a tire that he's gonna change. You know what I mean? I didn't know it needs a fucking weld.
No, I definitely think.
Because he told me, he's like, "Listen, I'm gonna come out.
If
this
it
is how much
wouldn't
it's gonna
have-
cost
if-
you to change the tire." I was like, "All right, just do it. $300 to
Was
change
he an
the tire."
amigo?
No, it was actually Arabic.
Oh, okay.
So he said it was like $330 to change the tire, right? Because it would be $250 for him to come out, $80 for the tire $330 to change the tires. Like, yeah, that's fine. Come out.
$80 for a used tire?
Yeah. Well,
Fuck.
yeah, well, it's actually, yeah, $80.
That's
yeah.
expensive for a used tire.
Yeah, well, beggars can't be choosers. Because I contacted.
No, I get that part.
Remember,
right? I get
Tesla,
it.
guess how much is Tesla? I have the here. I'm gonna give you
Like
Tesla numbers.
$400, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you Tesla numbers, right? You think that's expensive?
No,
these
yeah,
are these are Tesla numbers. Hold on a second. Yeah, these are Tesla numbers. All right. Okay. The cost for Tesla repair your tire is $121 plus tax. If need the price to replace the tire is $413.50 plus tax. So it was gonna cost me $500 almost for just to replace a tire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
To do Tesla.
Yeah. So
which another thing now is I was talking with your brother. They should give you some kind of reimbursement for all that money you paid with this.
Well,
fucker.
I contacted, put a complaint. I was like, motherfuckers, you couldn't even tell me to nowhere.
Right.
Like I told you, I needed this done.
And the whole
like, well,
purpose, you guys don't have a spares because of this, right?
Yeah.
Because you have 24/7 roadside assistance,
Yeah.
all that shit, right? But
yeah. And the funny thing is that, like, I didn't realize that's what's happening because they're asking, are you safely parked somewhere? Blah, blah, blah. And I think that's why he told me he can't come out. If I told him, no, I'm on the side of the road, they would have sent someone, like, right then and there.
You think so?
Yeah. Because I said I work in a parking garage. They're like,
said,
fuck him. He can just leave
he
it here
got
for
it to
2
work.
days.
He can take an Uber.
Yeah, exactly. And because after I talked to them the next day, they're like, well, yeah, that area is super busy. If something happened to you right now, I wouldn't be able to send somebody out to you till tomorrow. See what I mean?
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah, so do you have roadside assistance? You do.
So this happened to you yesterday?
Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday
morning.
So they wanted to fucking 3 days.
Yeah, they wanted to send somebody tomorrow.
No,
Not even today, tomorrow, 26th.
My watch is all fucked. I'm like, it's the 24th.
Yeah, so they wanted to send somebody 3 days out, 4 days out. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, do they have roadside assistance? You do. But the minute they find out I was able to pull in a garage, I was like, oh, he's safe. He don't fucking need it right now. He can figure out his own way around. I'm like, bitch, I got shit to do throughout the day. I can't just leave my fucking car here, take fucking Ubers back and forth. You know what I mean?
All right, guys, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Well, not a question. I got a couple questions for you.
All right. Let's see what you got.
I'm interested.
If you could change one societal norm or expectation, what would it be?
Normal expectation?
Norm or expectation would be something I would change throughout America, specifically our American society. I know this is me being like conservative, maybe old style, especially growing up a Hispanic. But goddamn, dude, some people need some manners. And I'm saying this as someone works in gas stations all day. I get them running into crackheads and shit, right? Like I can't expect these people to be well educated.
Hey man, can I get a bimbo?
But yeah, man, that shit's annoying. All day you're dealing with people who are just fucking rude, like try and squeeze past you without uttering an excuse me. Like,
yeah,
motherfucker. Or all the time I'm holding doors open for like people giving me rude looks, bro. Today we get to the Wawa that's here close to my house, actually, the 138th, and we're pulling in, and there's this guy walking across the street. But he walks from the side of the street and then gets in the middle and starts walking in the middle straight towards the Wawa. And my dad's sitting here. And he goes, and he sees me here. And this motherfucker's still going to walk in the middle. You know what this guy did? When he finally moved out of the road, right? When he took his sweet ass time, he stands there and kind of looks at us, waiting for us to say something. Like he's looking for trouble, right? Trying to be an asshole on purpose. And I've run into these kind of people before. One time, I almost had to get out of my car and beat the shit out of this white boy right here on the side of my house. I pulled out and I was heading towards Emily's. He stood in the middle of the road with him and his friend. And like, I'm trying to get past him and they're looking behind me. Literally, I'm in my car. These two guys are right here walking. They were looking behind me at my car and just kept walking in the middle of the road. And nothing was like if I wasn't fucking behind them in a 2,000-pound car. Right. And so people like that, man, that shit bothers me with society and shit. Yeah. Like, I didn't do nothing to you, man. What the fuck is this hostility?
The rule,
right?
The golden rule. Treat others as you would like to be treated.
And you know what's funny though, Miggy? I start doing that all the time. And there's been many sprouts in my life where I'm like, fuck these people. I'm going to start being the asshole too.
Yeah.
I start hating myself for it.
Yes.
I start hating myself for it because I'm not a naturally mean person. I'm naturally pretty nice. Every person I see, whether you're a fucking 10-year-old boy to a 50-year-old man, I usually fucking say sir. I say sir, and I'm like, yes, yeah, what's up, man? Like, yes, sir. Like, boom, this, that, whatever. I'm very nice when it comes to interacting with new people, which by nature is kind of part of me, even though I don't like to do it because you guys know me. I like my small circle. But then Emily tells me, like, yeah, you can talk with anybody in the elevator. I'm like, yeah, because I'm good at quick conversation. Doesn't mean I want to be someone's best friend, right? But, yeah, man, some manners. I'd like some people to have some fucking manners. And I guess, and I can see where, from another point of view, it's kind of like, you shouldn't have expectations of people. And I get that. I really do get that. Expectations of people that, especially that you don't know, is kind of like a setup for failure on your side. It really is. Yeah. It really is. You know, when you expect that person to say thank you, when you expect that person to,
they're probably like in their fucking head. They don't even realize that this is shit's happening around them. Like they're just completely oblivious to the situation.
Oh man, the one I hate. You know what's funny is I have the best and worst interactions with fucking these high schoolers, man. Because I had a bunch of these gas stations that are around high schools, and so when we go at like 7 a.m, all these high schoolers are walking around the gas stations and shit. And some of them are so nice, and some of them are fucking assholes. Like, and you get punched in the throat.
So I think, like, you know, when, you know, you said, like, you know, you start treating people the same way and like you don't like yourself. I don't know if you should treat them the same way, but like you should have boundaries. Like when somebody crosses your fucking boundary, you tell them, hey, listen, bro, that's kind of fucked up. You shouldn't be fucking doing that shit. Right. It doesn't mean I'm a mean person or I'm going to treat you like shit, but I'm going to just tell you. And that's why one thing I would change is because overall, someone that does things by logic, they do really well. But some people that do it with more emotion, they do better, right? And I dislike this thing of feelings over facts, right? So if I were to change something, I would get rid of, my feelings. I would completely eliminate that.
I feel this way.
Yeah, I feel this way. I don't give a fuck how you feel. Fuck your feelings. Reality doesn't care about your feelings.
How have your cultural background or upbringing influenced your values and worldview?
Well, this is a tough one.
I like this one though.
Do you think that maybe growing up in a different country with lesser opportunities maybe makes you more grateful?
Well,
and
so
thus more respectful?
100%.
Well, that's 100%.
100%, and you don't even have to grow up in a different country to appreciate that. I feel like, for example, me growing up as a little kid, right, until I took those first few trips to DR and kind of started understanding the culture and how my people actually lived.
Getting a worldview
that helps a lot, right? So, like, for example...
But you can't just take a trip there as on a vacation as a tourist. You have to, like, immerse yourself in life.
Right.
And the good thing is, like, you actually have family members that are there. And when you see them, it's a little different. It's not like...
I think that what me and Jay, and even you, Mickey, especially, because we've all grown up in kind of foreigner environments, right? You with your mom and stuff. I mean, you're a legit immigrant compared to me, right? I was born here. You actually got to be born out of the state.
Baby.
US He's like, don't give me those names. Don't give me those names. But look, for example, I think that one of the things that came out of the upbringing that we had, and from the way that you're saying, to get back to your question, is that you can take us three guys and put us on a stranded beach, right? It's full of sand, dirty, and we don't need nothing. We could sit down in that sand and just talk and chill and do whatever.
Well, I think in general that's guys, right?
No.
But I think if you take three of us and say, well, shit needs to get done, shit will get done.
No. I don't think that that's true.
You don't think so?
I think that there are going to be guys that sit in that situation and feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right? Like, they're...
I would.
What do you mean? Oh, what do you...
I would definitely feel uncomfortable.
Well, you'd be uncomfortable.
Not in a funny way.
But
realistically, in a survival...
No, not survival way.
No, but you wouldn't be pouting about it.
Let me give a better example. Not to say that we're surviving out there. Like, I mean, in the sense where we adapt to having fun and hanging out in uncomfortable and I was gonna say
uncomfortable
environments, in the sense where a lot of the people I knew growing up around me, ergo Americans, would need a beach towel to sit on. Unless they have their beach towel, they're not going to get comfortable and they're not going to have fun. You get what I'm saying?
At first, I didn't care. But then my mom, I feel like, got more Americanized.
You're right. No, we all of our parents do
and
that.
she's like,
sure.
"You're gonna sit on the sand." So,
Right.
Yeah.
No. But
then again, I was a kid, so I probably was just like, I don't care.
yeah, and then like of course stringing over from the manners thing. That's something else that came from my upbringing.
Read the question again.
Of a foreign. Yeah, give me the question again.
I think we
you.
segued out of the fucking.
At this point, I've lost the stem of it, huh?
How has your cultural background or upbringing I can't say that damn word.
Upbringing
influenced your values and worldview?
So, I can tell you this. I can tell a specific difference between, for example, Armenia, where I was born, Lithuania, where I lived, and then United States. Because if you take Armenia, the most conservative, and you take United States, the most liberal, Lithuania would fall right in the middle, right? They still have conservative and liberal values traditionally mixed together. Although the last time I was there, they were a little more liberal than I remember them to be.
Right.
Which I'm sure is going to happen with Armenia too if I ever go there. Now, how that has changed, the more and more I live, the older I get, the more I understand that those conservative values were much better than the ones that we portray now in a society, and with social media being out there, like everyone's just like, talking about my feelings this. Well, I'm, this stupid mentality. The other day I was listening to Vaynerchuk, and Vaynerchuk was talking about, like, he goes, nowadays young kids, you'll tell them, oh, well, if you do this, you'll make $1 million a year. They're like, oh, $1 million? Well, fuck that. That's not a lot of money. But then you don't take into account the top 1% of the United States makes $650,000.
$1 million seems
Motherfucker,
like...
give me $80K a year right now, and you'll be able to see a big smile on
That,
my
that
face.
and I think that's the difference
when
between.
you put it in big terms, if it's something that's life changing, $1 million isn't really a lot in the scale of things.
What do you mean it's not a lot?
$1 million a year?
$100,000 a month.
A year?
$1 million a year?
It's a lot of
That's
fucking money, bro.
$100,000 a month.
It's a
bro.
lot of money, but in the scale of things.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying
Yes,
you'll
it
be able,
is. In the scale of things, it is a lot of money in the sense where he just told you how much does the top 1% make? 650,000.
I'm just looking at it.
But I know what
from
he's
like
saying.
A social media perspective. Like
Yeah,
when
because
looking
you're comparing
out-
yourself to other
Yeah, but when
influencers
you're
and
looking
stuff.
outward, it doesn't feel like it's a lot.
Well, this is the problem.
See, you want to hear what I heard the other day? Sorry, Jay. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Well, so this is the problem when it comes to social media. If you open your social media, right, whether you're in an echo chamber or not, you're going to get the same influencers over and over and over popping out on your screen. Those are the ones that make the money, right? Like, you're going to get the Drakes, you're going to get the Kanyes, you're going to get the, whether it's, whether it's Andrew Tate or whoever it is, it's the same group of people that's constantly rotating. We have 8 billion people. Would you say I would say there's probably maybe 100 influencers out there like that, right? That live that life. Because you don't see too much of the Leonardo DiCaprio and all of those actors. You don't see the Robert Downey Jr. You don't see them that much.
They're going
on
strike.
Yeah, well, the social media gives you these people that are like showing their lavish lifestyles, this and that and that. But there's only a very small group of people that are able to do that. Now, I'm not saying with $1 million you'll be able to get to rent a $50,000 per night apartment in Dubai. No, you won't. But with $1 million, you can go to Dubai, have hella fun, live in a very nice apartment in a very nice area, go to nightclubs, buy the $5,000 table.
And go to Italy on the weekends.
And go to Italy on the weekends. You'll be able, in $1 million, you'll be able to take solid 4 trips, have a family with a wife and children. Your wife can work if she wants to, doesn't need to work. You both will have 2 cars and a weekend car, and your kids will go to a private school, and then you'll still have money left over.
To
right?
go to Monaco for F1.
Left over. After all this is all done, you still have money left over to put away for fucking retirement. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
I see
the
it.
American dream. To be able to set up your kids to do better than you are, right? But they're also, that's why $1 million
It just
is a
depends,
lot of
I
money.
guess, on the way you...
Now, have an ambition to have more than millions is a
It
different
just
story.
depends on what your idea of success is. So,
Bro.
for example, some people, the American dream is having that milli. Making that milli.
Correct. Some people want to have $1 million. Some people want to make only 100. Some people want to make 150. It depends. It's on every person. Now, if you're ambitious enough and say you want to be a billionaire, you just have to understand.
Now that's...
You just have to understand what it takes to be a billionaire, right? Like, for example, Elon Musk is a billionaire. The reason he's a billionaire is because of what kind of a person he is. You need to have this demon inside you. You can't just be the nice guy. And most of the people are not that. You don't have the demon inside you. And any successful person that you look at, they're usually nice on camera and things like that, but they have demons inside them. Same thing happened with Apple CEO. Like if you read his book, he's not the very easiest person to deal with. Elon Musk, not the very easiest person to deal with. Vaynerchuk, not the very easiest person to deal with. Like these guys are rich guys, but then you have to be able to stomp over people. What's his name? Bill Gates. The reason he became so successful as he is, they actually hit him with monopoly lawsuits twice in years past. Why? Because it was buying up companies. He was literally stomping. He was destroying other companies for Microsoft to survive. You have to have that mentality. And they've done the research that if you're a successful entrepreneur, you have the same traits as a sociopath does. So you have to completely either change your personality, become a sociopath-esque, or you have to have that inherently in you.
Let me ask you something. Something I've been thinking about lately, actually. So we can all agree that a lot of times the most successful people are their worst critics.
They are.
Right? They're the ones who judge themselves the hardest and are the hardest on themselves. Right?
Well, Patrick Bet-David just wrote a book about it. It's like pick your enemies wisely, and the whole plot of the book is to choose an enemy that you can compete with and reach that goal, and then you choose a new enemy. So when you get to the point where you're the number one, then you have to be your enemy's yourself, right?
Right. No, yeah. So your worst critic, for example, I find myself to be that way, right? I'm constantly in my brain, which I started calling it mental masturbation, but kind of bashing myself, right? So, but at the same time, I also think that a lot of successful people are a little narcissists.
Well, you have to be.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying what it is, right?
You're not narcissist, but you're gonna have to develop narcissistic tendencies.
Yes, in the sense where, because I'll tell you, I feel like the moment you lose those narcissistic tendencies, because a lot of times as growing up, if you're one of the smarter kids, you kind of have that, right? Like, yeah, I was put ahead in this, I did good in this, whatever, right?
Yeah, and I'm better than most.
And I'm better than most, right? And you're one of the smart. You find yourself to be one of the smarter kids, right? A little more cultured and this and that, right? I feel like the moment you lose that is the moment you stamp your normal person thing on your resume.
Yeah.
The moment you lose
become
that,
a normie.
You become a normie.
Mm-hmm. You become average.
Happy I haven't lost that shit.
Yeah, you become average, and that's the thing. There's nothing wrong. Here's nothing wrong with being average. The only problem is being average.
Most people have to be.
Yeah. Yes.
How the word works.
The thing is, with you being average, especially as a single guy, it's not necessarily a very fucking good thing, right? Because, again, going back to social media and this and that, an average girl will think she's a 10, and now she doesn't consider you as viable partner because she thinks she's above you. Right. Like there was this other reel I watched. There was this girl. I mean, she was cute, but she wasn't pretty. But the dude standing next to her, you could tell his posture, his everything. He was an accomplished dude. And she goes like, "What would you?" The guy interviewer goes, "What would you rate him?" She goes 7.5 to him, and then he goes to the guy, "What would you rate her?" She didn't even let him talk. I'm a 10. So that right there, dynamic already tells me that she thinks she's better than this guy. And then the guy goes, kiss or slap. She goes, a punch, and then the guy goes to kiss her and she proceeds to like slap him. Like that dynamic right there showed me that this girl was there using this guy, number one, because she was thinking she's better than him in every which possible way. But she was completely average. Like I wouldn't put her on a cover of a magazine. I wouldn't.
But don't you think it's funny how, like I said though, as a successful person, right? You think of yourself hardly, right? You're like I said, you judge yourself. You're yourself's worst critic, but at the same time, you kind of walk around with a chip on your shoulder, where it's like you kind of think you're a little bit better than people.
Well, you are better. Right? You have to recognize you're better.
But in a sense, isn't that weird? Because in the sense where you kind of have to realize where your own judge inside you is kind of playing in favor of that. In the sense where, you're very hard on yourself. You're yourself's worst critic, but it's only to keep yourself better than everybody else.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because you have to be competitive. That's why, like, the selfish gene, like, it's all blame the biology, right? Like, we have to pass on our genetic material. So subconsciously, we're going to do that. We're going to be in a competition at all times. Like, girls compete with their looks. That's why there's the makeup industry, right? That makes billions of dollars because they want to make up and then whatever they fucking call it these days, insatiate the natural lines that they have, which is complete bullshit to me. You're putting makeup on to look better.
What do you guys think about destiny? Do you guys believe in it? And do you think maybe
No.
there's second chances to
No,
destiny?
I don't. The reason I don't believe in destiny because where's the destiny or like those soulmates for those kids with cerebral palsy or the kids that are like working in Africa in the diamond mines? You know, this Michael Sartain talks about this, or kids that go in Africa through like genocides or people
Yeah,
that
I
have
think-
died young or their limbs are chopped off. Where is the destiny for them?
I think
Where is
that instead of the word destiny, I think the best thing I would say is, and it's still something you make yourself. You make your own legacy, right? Where if you have the opportunity and the chance, because like these kids, they don't have opportunity or chance,
Yeah.
right? And that's why, like I said, like Jay's saying, there's no destiny for these guys. What destiny is that? right?
That's for girls. That's
But
for girls. I want my
legacies-
wife to think about that. I want my wife to be like spiritual and do all this shit. I want her to be the one that does it for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like proverbially praise to God for me instead of me, right? Like you do that. You live in a pretty world thinking that, you know, there's destiny and there's these things and they were supposed to happen. I understand that that's not it. And don't worry about it. I'm going to shelter you from that. I'll take care of
But
the
you
hard
actually
part.
want her to be like that? I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I would. I would because if she wasn't like that, I don't think women, like as emotional as they are, I don't think they could handle reality. They couldn't.
I don't think that's
They
true.
would not be able to handle. I don't think they would be able to handle
And then,
reality.
but problems I see with that is
They would
you
become
wanna have
very
children.
masculine.
You want to have children with this person, right?
Correct. Mhm.
So she's gonna, if she has these thoughts, she's gonna want to
Yeah.
put them on her children, which is where I run into issues.
Well, she will put that on the children, but then don't remember like this is like a two people relationship, right? Like when it comes to disciplining, I'll be doing the disciplining. Like I don't want to necessarily. I want my kids to love me, want to spend time with me, you know, be with me and things like that, lead by an example. But at the same time, I'm going to want them to understand that I'm the father and I'm the authority.
Well,
And you can't do that by being friends.
At the end of the day, I learned this the hard way, and anecdotally with my father, is you can't be friends with your kid until
can't.
they come to realizations on their own, in that sense where
Yeah.
I
Like, he's my dad. I have to respect him. The minute that happens, then you can start pretending to be a friend.
right.
But that's not going to happen until later in the
And
years.
it's weird too, because I remember as a kid, my father used to tell me, "My son, I will be the best friend you ever have." And you know, you don't understand that as a kid.
No.
You don't understand that because this guy's in your head is being the asshole to you, making you do this, making you eating your veggies. You gotta go to sleep early. You go take a shower. All right,
Yeah.
as a little kid,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, it's absolutely right. Nobody's gonna be your biggest friend and supporter like your father would
Yeah.
be.
And especially
And
with
when it comes to friends, the biggest thing is understanding, and he'll understand you the most.
Yeah, especially with boys. You know, when boys are, you know, any children, when they're younger, they're very, very emotional. And if you continue letting boys to be as emotional as they are when they're children, like throw fits and like that, they grow up to be the ones that go to prison. You know, just because they're just fucking emotionally making mistakes. Like the guy cannot be. That's why I don't agree with this nonsense
but
of women coming
I
out
think
there
that
and saying
there's just a
emotional intelligence. Now think about it.
there's
this
an
way.
average limit to that, in the sense where, as us all three in this room, my father, your brother, as normal people, we still get those spouts of emotional
Well, we do.
rage, and
We
we go
do,
out
and-
of control, and all these things, right?
We do
like
it.
like the thing I said with my dad the other day, right? Where like he's like, I'm about to throw this shit.
Yeah.
Right? The little machine from working.
Yeah.
And like I told him, like, that's not gonna do anything, because I'm nice and calm, so I see it that way, right? But when you're emotional and pissed off, you don't give a fuck about
But think about it.
logic.
No, I understand that. But what I'm trying to say, who's more emotionally intelligent? Somebody that shows their emotions or someone that controls their emotions? Who's more emotionally
So
intelligent?
shows or communicates?
Shows or communicates? Either way, shows or communicates.
No,
We
because
talk-
it's different.
No, we're not saying. I'm not saying go on
Shows.
the
You mean
extremes.
shows,
Like
right?
whether you communicate your emotions, this and that, or whether you like you. So
You're basically asking me who's more emotionally intelligent.
Correct.
And someone who can control their emotions or someone who can't,
correct.
right? Of course, someone who can.
Yes. Period.
So you understand that emotions are, they're sprouts of emotions. They're bursts.
Exactly. You
They
recognize
surpass.
that you're having an emotional outburst, and you like you recognize that, you nib it in the bud, and you say, okay, like I'm having like an emotional moment. There's no need to be this, because there's always a logical explanation to this. Like I need to get out of this. That these things happen. You're a human, right? So this is why you need to take your time to leave out of the situation, come down, and come back.
But see, this is already. I have a disagreement there with you, where in the sense where I agree with one part, and I agree that shit becomes easier over time, right?
Yeah, because you control it. You start controlling your
Right.
emotions.
But I don't think you necessarily have to leave the situation and come back, Because I'll give you my anecdotal experience in the sense where I've been together with my girlfriend now 7.5 years, right? Plenty of arguments.
Yeah.
And over time, it has become easier for me in the moment to say, I'm sorry, babe. I know I said that this way. You know, I was being emotional and like try and come back to logical, right? And stop being so emotional. But I don't have to step away to do that. It's kind of a realization you make. And I think that maybe when you're starting off, right, you might have to step away, right, to get a hang of it. Yeah. But over time, you don't have to step away. You kind of start understanding. When you can recognize that shit like this.
Yeah, when you recognize that you're about to say some shit
that's just at a spite,
or raise your voice, that's the time for you to step away. Like, step away and
you don't
come
have
back
to
on a
step away.
clean
Just
hand.
just rethink it. It's kind of like, you know, when you're mad, you might have to text somebody some fucking, and then literally just because you've taken the extra time to type it out versus say it, right? Because it takes you a few extra seconds, you come to an extra realization. Nah, maybe I won't say that anymore. Dun, 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 dun. Right? And it's just time.
Yeah.
Just time.
So anyway, I don't know. It's really hard to say, you know.
Let's. I see you got some cool topics here. Oh wait, before we move on.
Well, maybe you had more questions. What else? Good question you had.
I like your questions.
That you like.
I just saw you had those topics. I don't want to.
Which question was
it?
You like?
I really last time and didn't even talk about it.
What was the question you had that you said I really like this question?
Give it to us, Mickey. While Mickey's taking a second to find his question, Vitality Wellness Center, guys, they got their new location on 4th Street. That's actually open longer hours now. I saw that they extended their hours. They're open 12 hours a day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. now instead of, I think it was 10 to 7, right? Mm-hmm. So Park Street location, I think is still 10 to 7. We'll see what they do about that. Emily won't be happy about extending hours, but that'll be good for them, guys. You can have more access to your cold plunges, cryotherapy, PMF, and many more. Check out the new location on I keep saying 22nd. Goddamn. This is all the addresses from the route that I've been doing. It's confused in my brain. The new location on 4th Street. I think, what's the steam room? They have a steam room, right? That's the different modality they have, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, make sure to take out.
It's an infrared steam room. I think it's an infrared steam room. Yeah. I think it's an infrared steam room.
Anyways, guys, make sure to check out Vitality Wellness Center. You got 2 locations. Boom, right there, guys. In case you forget, you know. And yeah, if you want a credit, one-time use credit, guys, you can comment Vitality in the chat. Make sure it's on a live stream. Just comment Vitality, and you can show this at one of their locations to get a chance to try out one of their modalities to get a kind of a little trial run, you know. Right. Mickey, you got that question for us?
What is your philosophy on forgiveness, and is there someone you struggle to forgive?
Ooh, I like this one. That
was deep. That's as deep as we're gonna get.
Forgive but don't forget. Forgive but never forget. That's how I go by.
There you go. That's
forgive, don't forget.
And that takes something to learn. You know?
Yeah.
I have a
when you're not mad at it when you're not mad about it, but you never want to do that again.
Exactly. I have a friend that I'm still pretty good friends with, but in the past some things have happened, right? And so I just learned where to have boundaries now with that certain friendship in a sense, right? And another, you asked the forgive part, and there's still someone you struggle to forgive. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think a lot of times that happens when we overshare. Like, that's the number one thing. Don't tell people more than they need to know. When you tell them only what they need to know, they never can come back and bite you in the ass, right? Now, I'm not saying this to even the ones that are close to you. I think if you look at it as a company, like everyone in your life has a job to do, right? And you're the CEO of your company, and everyone around you has a job to do, and each person gets the information they need to get. Like, don't overshare. Like, don't ever blabber around too much. Like, there's no point to it, because if anything, they're gonna use that against you most of the time.
And
right?
you know, when you I grew up being a very social person with my family and being very talkative. Right, grew up in the party environment every weekend and stuff. And that's something I had to learn to do, was hold my mouth. And then once you start learning to hold your mouth and not overspeak in situations like that, you recognize when other people are doing so. Mm-hmm. Like nowadays, I can walk into a room, and if there's one guy talking for too long, start paying attention, and you start noticing, person is looking for a center of attention, right? And they just don't know what to do with themselves.
So that usually, I think, happens when the person has nothing interesting or fun to tell you. when they're just randomly talking. But if you get somebody that has like really interesting stories to tell you, and like the conversation
Good
flows.
storytellers always like fun to be around.
Yeah,
Yes.
so those are the people that are okay. But then there's the ones that always want like do some loud shit, some stupid stuff, just to be continuously part of the center of the attention.
Right.
Then yeah, or
Because they
they're
lost
pushing
their
an
interesting
agenda.
story they
Yeah,
pushed at first, right?
yeah. It's usually how you say things that resonates with people, which to me it's another thing that I don't like, because people will pay attention how you say things versus what you say. You know, like I'll say 2 + 2 is 4, and then 2 + 2 is fucking 4. People are like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? They automatically like, bro, like the information conveyed has nothing to do with the way I said it. Like it doesn't change the fact that it is 4.
You know that you say fucking and saying it without the fucking. That reminds me of which I feel like I'm a little bit of a hypocrite about this topic. Ready?
Why?
So, I'm someone who doesn't hold their mouth much, right? Unless I'm in a business situation.
But
like
I've
I'm
never
working.
really found you to be in any way rude about it.
No.
Sometimes I'll pop out. It is what it is. When he does, and I'll usually say something.
Which
But
I'm happy about. I like that you keep me in check.
yeah, but most of the time somebody will do some fuck shit, and you're like, bro, that's fucked up. Like it's not being rude. You're just saying straight up that's fucked up. Like,
but then let me communicate this.
It's not comfortable because truth is never fucking comfortable. Truth is never comfortable. Then now
because I'm not sugarcoating you and coddling you, it makes you even more,
That's why these proverbs existed since dawn of time, and every single culture had them, right? Like, hurtful truth is better than the fucking sweet lies. You know what I mean? No matter how you look at it, the truth is always fucking hurtful.
But then, so you brought up Gary Vaynerchuk before, right? And Vaynerchuk has this very famous clip that came out when I first started watching him about how one of the teachers of his daughter or one of his sons, I don't know, but one of his kids was complaining to him about his 7-year-old or 8-year-old cursing, right? And he kind of told her, like, when I got way too many problems and things to be worrying about this child cursing, especially when I don't believe that that's a problem. And when people tell me I curse too much, one of the things I like to tell them is, man, do you want me to communicate how I actually feel, or you want me to talk to you like a little kid, right? Because I can talk to you like a little kid if that's what you really want, but this is how I genuinely communicate. This is how my vocabulary comes. This is how I naturally talk, right? And so I find myself having to kind of put a filter on, right? So, but at the same time, I'm a strong believer in the reason you should have and build that filter is because there are certain times where you're in a professional situation and you have to learn, right? So this is where I find myself being hypocritical. I'm getting full circle. Little kids, right? Little kids cursing. I find that shit a little it bothers me, right? When I see little kids cursing in front of me or adults and this and that, right? Or like saying it blatantly in front of the whole party, this and that. It irks me in the sense because you're not building that filter where it can have an on and off switch.
So
right? So I get little kids are gonna curse. I cursed since I could talk, right? But I understood I can't do that in front of my parents.
Yeah.
Can't do that shit in front of my sister, not at school, here, there, wherever, right? And so that's where I find myself to be a little hypocritical, but at the same time, I understand why I have these thoughts.
Yeah, so my thing on that is the reason I don't like kids cursing is because they don't understand what they're saying. Now, if they actually understood what they're saying and they're okay with taking that risk and that capability that comes with it and the consequences that come with it, more power to you.
Yeah, because even today as an adult, sometimes we'll slip, right? Be in that professional situation and let out a shit or a fuck. And instantly you think like, damn, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
You instantly
because you understand the repercussions of it, right? Like you understand that there could be repercussions, and are you willing to deal with the consequences?
When I worked at Best Buy,
accountability, right? Like that's the bottom line.
Eddie for mayor. I don't know about that. I don't want to deal with people. I remember working at Best Buy.
Eddie could be a mayor. He was born in this country, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. And then he called his sister.
Oh yeah, I got slapped. I guess I don't even remember this, but Rodolfo still remembers this to this day. I called my sister a bitch when I was a little kid one time. She slapped the shit out of me. I think it was.
I told you guys about the time I got slapped by a girl, right?
You did? I've gotten slapped with a girl too.
I've been slapped by a girl.
I think all of us have gotten slapped by a girl.
Yeah.
I remember very vividly. It was a 7th grade.
I think it's a rite of passage for girls. They're like they at least need to slap one guy in their life. You know what I mean? It's just like a rite of passage.
I remember. I got slapped by some chick. One of my buddies. So this girl was school whore. I ain't gonna put a filter on this.
That's kind of how she wasn't a whore. I totally deserved that slap. I don't
No,
know
this girl
where
was
to
school
call
whore.
This girl a bitch and she slapped the fuck out
Listen, they're
Oh
all
yeah, that's different, Mickey.
they're all bitches and hoes unless they prove it to you otherwise, you know.
So this girl
Sorry.
was what do they call it? The school hot potato, right?
She was the school
And-
bicycle.
School bicycle. Everyone got a ride, and
Everybody took a turn.
and anyways, one of my buddies told me about her. This and that. She came over to do something. This and that. And
She got used more than a fucking plastic bag in a third country.
Yes.
that reminds me of the topic from school I gotta tell you about. Anyways, I got caught, like you said, saying too much, right? I told like as a joke, because it was funny, right? The way my friend told me about it, he's like, yeah, like that girl's so desperate for dick, she came to my house to suck my dick. That's how the whole story went, right? And yeah, she slapped the shit out of me for telling that story.
I mean,
I remember that. I mean,
How do
I
you
think it's a little bit of a well-deserved
How do
slap.
you
I
get
ain't gonna
slapped,
lie.
Jay? How do you get slapped, Jay?
oh, I don't remember. I think it was.
You don't remember? You don't remember a girl slapping you?
No, I do. It was
Yeah,
in
it was
high
Rodolfo's
school,
fault.
and I think it was one of the dances, and I grabbed the girl's ass, and you know,
Oh, you fucking yeah! You deserve
little
it.
freaky fuck.
she turns around like, "What the fuck?" Wham!
Do you think you deserved it?
Huh?
Yeah,
You
you
think you
grabbed
deserved
ass. You deserve it.
I mean, that's what everyone else was doing.
All right, that reminds me. Donnie, grab her by the pussy. Anyways.
Yeah,
50
yeah.
Shades
50
of
Shades of Trump,
So
bro.
there's this,
So apparently they took a picture of Trump. This picture went freaking wild on internet, right? Go down on the comments. Just look at that, bro. It looks like he's made out of wax.
A
bro.
wider pail of shite.
Yeah. And he looks old as shit in that picture. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
he
Like,
does.
we're talking shit about
maybe some
Biden.
makeup
He looks
because of the
bad.
lights.
Huh?
Maybe this some makeup because of the lights.
I think this is because of the fucking tanning that he does. You can clearly tell because he covers his eyes, bro.
So he was getting a little crispy.
Yeah, bro. That's
Yeah,
what he
he be getting-
does.
Little
Diaper
seasoning.
beige. Yo.
Yeah.
Dookie
Dazzle.
Dazzle. Flush Fantasy.
Excremental elegance.
Center.
Centaurum. What the fuck is Centaurum?
Commander Impeach. Leading the free world one blush at a time.
Well, he's definitely getting himself out there. He's getting that promotion.
50 Shades of Trump. This
I
is
think
pretty
we're gonna
funny.
have a Trump 2024, guys.
I don't
think
know.
so?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you this right now. When I do go vote, I'm putting Eddie Asensio's name in. Eddie Nelson Asensio.
Oh, you can't. He wasn't born here.
No, Eddie Alberto Asensio. There we go. I'm putting Eddie's name in for the
It
fucking
can't.
president.
I'm not 35.
Some bitch. Who's 35 that I know? Because
Yeah,
I
Matt
don't.
Foreman for president.
I refuse.
I agree. I'm with that one.
I refuse to vote for either one of them. I really refuse to vote for either one of them. I'm gonna have to go with a third party candidate.
See, but this is the thing, Jay. I understand why you're saying that because you kind of understand that both are kind of bad options in the sense. That's what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? And so when you with whichever outcome comes, you don't want to be in case you pick that one, you don't want to be a contributor to that.
Correct. I don't want to.
But at the same time, if you don't vote for whichever one you think is the lesser evil, and then the one that you thought is the worst evil wins, you now kind of contributed to him winning.
I know it's a crossroads. I get it.
It's a double-edged sword, my friend.
I get it. But what if that my vote was the one that tips this, this other candidate that is not like the.
Bro, they get like 3%.
I know. Shut up.
They get
Yeah.
like 3% votes, bro.
I know. But it's just terrible, man. Like even looking at who's still because DeSantis fell out.
You saw Vivek was on Flagrant?
Yeah. Well, Vivek's been going to a lot of he's been going to a lot of podcasts.
What do you guys
And
think
there's
of his
a
idea of cutting certain departments in the government? Like
whose idea?
Vivek's. He
Yeah.
wants to cut the FBI. There's around 35,000 employed FBI agents or working for
Mm-hmm.
the FBI. He wants to cut it to around 22,000.
Why? What's his reasoning behind it?
I'll tell you after this other thing.
No,
He
I know
also
they're
wants to-
notoriously lazy. Like they don't like
So
doing their
the
work. They
FBI,
usually
I'll give you the rundown on the FBI and then I'll give you the other one. The FBI wants to cut down because he thinks that there's too much corruption in there. initially when it was created, it was during Hoover, and they used it a lot to manipulate campaigns, like.
Bro, so here's
campaigns.
the thing, Vivek. Okay.
The other department that he wanted to cut down was ATF and the education department.
Yeah, I wouldn't fucking cut either one of those departments. That right there tells me I don't want to ever work
check this
Vivek.
out. The education department actually makes sense when he actually went over it. The reason why is because the particular duties that they're assigned are no longer needed. So they're just sitting there collecting money for no reason. So the education sector was originally created to distribute wealth after desegregation between the schools. Nowadays, all they do is give money to schools that promote things like Black, Latino, now transgender.
Diversity?
Yeah, more diversity, which is not fair, and again, is really cutting into other
So here's the thing.
things.
Governmental agencies are notoriously terrible at it because they know that if they don't get this shit done, they're just going to continue getting money, right? There's no sense of urgency.
So part of that is his plan of moving those duties that are needed, move to the labor department.
So
and cut the funding for education.
So here's the thing though. If you do cut that, the culture is already there. They're not going to change. You cut that, they're still going to continue working slower, and they're going to say, now we don't have time to do all of it. So things are going to start getting piled up. They're not going to just suddenly overnight start working faster or doing their job, right?
I can't speak on the other departments he wants to mess with, but when it comes to the school system, I think the last thing we should be doing is removing money or taking.
So they should take that money.
You know
they should take that money and they do performance-based bonuses.
Education, the education system here is
performance-based bonuses.
Horrible.
Meaning, like, if someone gets a project done and they do it really well, and it's not necessarily that's feeding some sort of an agenda, right? Like, if they get a project done, they get a bonus. Performance-based bonuses. People are going to start hustling. They're going to start making money. You know what I mean? And majority of the times,
let's about the education department.
Yeah. Like they have a project going. Like we have this district that's not doing very well with schools. We have to bring this up. The level we have to bring it up. What we can do to change this.
But
they bring up the level, they get a bonus.
You want to hear something, Jay? I think that instead of bonuses, I'm not to say that wouldn't work. I think that that may work, but in my head, most people that are in the education system, you know, to be a teacher, you need a 4-year degree, right? You gotta go to college.
But the stupidest people become high school or middle school or elementary school teachers, you know.
But they usually want to do it. They do it because they want to, right? You know.
No, they do it because they. So they do it because they usually didn't have a better option.
Which
the ones that cannot make it teach. You know, there's a saying like that.
Well, I understand with that, like when it comes to business and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? But, you know, your average high school teacher and stuff like that, they want to teach, right? Like your 22-year-old that just graduated and started to teach middle school, whatever, they want to teach. They chose that path, right?
Yeah.
In the sense where I don't think incentivizing these people are good, right? But I think the incentive is partially already there. It's just their lack of resources to play with isn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's simply just a
what happened to the volume? Volume went out.
Should be good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The simple fact of the matter is
your mic went out. I can tell you that. Yeah. Your mic is not working.
Boom, boom, boom. That's it. It's fine. Yeah.
Here? Yeah, I hear it. Okay.
Yeah. The simple fact of the matter is that
maybe my headphones went out.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's just low.
No, it's better. Yeah, it was headphones.
God damn, what am I saying? Simple fact of the matter is that these guys don't necessarily need a lot more incentive to do their jobs better. They need more resources. Bro, I remember growing up, like the teacher telling me, this is how much money is allocated for my school supplies for the year for you guys. Class of 30.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, you do the division, whatever she wanted us to learn.
$2.50 a person?
$1.30 a person. The fuck?
A pencil.
Bitch, you gave me crayons. You gave me You gave me crayons, you gave me markers, you gave me pencils, pens, notebooks, drawings, paint. Like, that doesn't cost $1.30, even if you go to the school depot, that whatever, right? Like, it's just not that simple. And the fact of the matter is, like, they have like their depot within the school, right, where they go and get their supplies. They invoice all that, and that's charged as part of what you're putting for those kids, right? Like, you can't just go into the school supply closet as a teacher and grab whatever the fuck you need and go. It's not as simple as that.
So, and I think you were asking, like, growing up in a different country, I can remember we had people that were not happy with their job, but majority of people, whatever job they did it with pride. Like, that they're a teacher, they were prideful that they're a teacher. They did it, I work for the government, they were prideful they work for the government. I work for a private company, they had pride that they're, I think that pride is gone. Like, how many times you see people that say, like, you ask them, what do you do? I have this job.
Oh, and I mean,
even though they could be like a great ass fucking job, and they have zero fucking pride. They take zero.
But it works vice versa in the sense where you not only does the worker not take pride in his job, but the people around him look down upon him for it.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many dirty looks I can feel in the back of my head because I'm the guy stocking shelves at the gas station?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Little did they know that that's your fucking business. So you probably make more money than them. It's the whole story
They don't
about
care.
Yeah.
And if you were to tell them that my job is comparable to the milkman back in the day, they're like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense," but they still don't look at me like that.
No, they don't, because
guess what? The milkman fuck your granddad.
Yeah, well, see,
granddad.
the thing is, because nowadays
grandma,
we're all like,
granddaddy works.
go to school, go to school, go to school, go to school,
You know,
go to school.
the old people were fucking in the closet back then.
Yeah, we say go to school. Now, school is definitely the fast track way of you making a little bit more money than if you didn't graduate, right? But we don't emphasize like, somehow going to trades and doing things like that have become like you're doing that,
Yeah.
right? Like, but they have no idea.
You know why? Simple, the fact that people are just exposed to more. Social media allows everyone to see everyone's lives.
Not only that, I think those people are perceived as less intelligent because they didn't go to a formal school. Like, the reason is because we put intelligence and school, and we equate going to school and being intelligent to each other. And that's absolutely not true. If you're intelligent, you're most likely to go to school, and not the other way around.
And I can tell you from experience, I grew up with that perception in a sense as well. And not only till I get older do you realize that your average trash guy can be just as, like, street smart and, like, talk to you just like the guy that does financing at Raymond James.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Because schools where I went, they were more competitive, right? Like, you had to meet certain grades, you had to take certain tests, and you had to pass these tests and get accepted. Majority of people did not get accepted. Majority of people did not get accepted to university after the high school. And this was a big thing. Like, either do that or you're going to be fucking repairing shoes.
I mean, off of that thought I just said, I've met more people in higher positions. I'd be like, you're socially awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
Than the people in the lower positions.
Yes. Well, that's usually the case because those people usually put in the time. They have nothing better to do. They put in the time and they get there, right? Like, for example, take Elon Musk, right? Like, he's very socially awkward. Self-diagnosed Asperger's. And I don't know if this exists as self-diagnosed bipolar. But at the same time, during dinner when he was with Grimes and she had a baby, they did a C-section. He took a picture of it and he was showing it to the entire family, her with a C-section, without realizing that I might be hurtful for her. Right. Like, he doesn't understand that, right? But at the same time, he built one of the biggest companies in the world, right? Like, this man, short sellers were short selling Tesla stock, and basically Tesla stock was crashing because they would run the drones up in the air and they count how many cars are coming. This was the time when it was promising 5,000 cars per week, right? And they would put out drones up there, and he came out with an idea, is like, go through the rules, and then they figured out that there's no rule that says you cannot put a big ass tent in a parking lot and start fucking making a conveyor belt out of it and have the third assembly line inside the tent out of the building instead of building next to the building because they couldn't extend the building. So he put a gigantic tent, put the assembly line in there, and then the machines that he had were just for heavy parts. They were not for body parts, right? Like, they're too heavy. So he put it on a slope so the gravity can pull these machines down the assembly line. And, like, these things, people like that, that make it to people that make it, they naturally have the edge. Not only do they have the edge, they're relentless.
There's some people that have some fucking crazy ingenuity.
They
I
do.
saw a reel
But
the
if you're
other day
lazy, nothing's gonna come out of it. You have to have the relentlessness plus ingenuity. I think it's a combination of both.
I think that being your worst critics is one of the things that builds that ingenuity so high, because you constantly rack problems in your brain.
Well, most of the time, lazy people are the ones that solve all the problems, right? Because they don't want to work hard.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, and today I had to do some homework, right? Which we can talk about because you talked about trash and stuff earlier, like the trash bags. But anyway, I had to do some homework today, right? And
very weird context, sure.
it was it'll connect,
Well, wait,
don't
before
worry.
you go there, what's the reel you were talking about? You saw a reel?
There was a reel of these Mexican guys. They had a switch, like a light switch, that would, whenever it was enabled, it would bring up the door window in the car.
Oh, like plug in? Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. Plug in, yeah.
So you would like switch on, it would go up, switch off, it would come down.
Yeah, because the plug actuator probably doesn't work, and that's the only thing they could come up with, yeah.
It's not great at all, but the fact that you made that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Go ahead with homework.
So I had to do some homework today that it was actually due yesterday. So it's one of those discussion posts where you have to
snitching on yourself.
Yeah, so whatever. It's one of those discussion posts where you have to do like the initial post, and then by the end of the week do the responses and stuff. You know what I'm talking about, Mickey?
Every week at Friday.
Yeah, and
or Sunday.
These are due Wednesday. The initial post, I forgot to do it. Whatever, right? And I'm at work when I realized this today, like 6 a.m. I'm like, fuck! I forgot to do that shit yesterday. So throughout the day, I went reading like the articles I had to read when I was in the car, and boom, boom. And I realized that just me reading a little bit here and there and giving myself in between the reading time to kind of like thought process and like kind of think about what I wanted to say was much more effective than me trying to sit down and think about it all at once and do all of this in one sitting, boom, boom, boom. And that made me just think about it 10 times more efficient and smoothly too. I wasn't forcing myself, right? It was just kind of conversations I was having with myself in my head with no I guess you can say like instant deadline. Like I don't want to get this done in this one sitting. And then the reason you talked about the trash bags and stuff earlier, and the reason that connects with this, and we and Jay were actually talking about this before the pod started, was so today I had to basically write the discussion post on a business called Trashy Bags Africa, which is this business that was started as a company in Ghana that they take all the, like the little water packages and juice packages we used to get in school. Mm-hmm. They call sachets is what they call them. They use those a lot in Africa.
Juice box.
Right? They're just little bags of water.
Sachets.
Right? Sachets, right? And anyways, apparently they have an extreme amount of these in the streets, and like because people don't dispose of them well because of the no clean water in Africa. Everybody's just using these, and this guy started this company that takes these out of the street and he weaves them into like bags and stuff like this, right? And basically the whole thing is around social entrepreneurship. And when I said that phrase to Jay, he was like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because a lot of times when you start breaking that situation down, basically it's someone who is taking advantage and now starting to make money off of a bad situation, right? But in this case, I kind of came to the realization that if you're doing it in the way that this company is, it's not just you taking advantage and trying to make money off of this.
You're solving something.
He's in the long term, he wants to solve this problem to where he's not doing it anymore, in a sense, right? So they take these bags and they actually, it's pretty cool. So the guy employed, I think a little bit over 40 people to collect the bags, clean them, and weave them. But he also told all the locals, hey, for every 1,000 sachets you bring me, I'll give you, I think he said €1 or something like that. It was a European article, so they were giving that translation, or €1 or 2, right? Something like that. And they talked to this 55-year-old woman who goes around and collects. She was bringing in 4,000 sachets, and she brought them in, and they asked her, like, why are you doing this? She goes, because I'm too old. I can't actually go and work any place here. And I make money off of doing this, and it helps clean up the environment. So that's why, like I said, Jay, I kind of came around to a different view in the sense where if they're actually trying to help and legit get rid of the problem, right? They're not just prescribing a medicine to the to the pain. They're actually saying, okay, let's do this PT, let's get this surgery done, and let's solve this. So the guy was saying he wants to be the pioneer in cleaning up sub-Saharan countries like that need help. Also into finding a way to make multi-use sachets, where they're no longer this single-use item for water that they can be reused again and again. Actually, Mickey, if you want to pull it up so they can see the bags, it's called Trashy Bags Africa. Trashy Bags. Just like that. You gonna take a seat or what? No. So you lied to me yesterday.
Come here.
Nice. Minty Rosa.
Take this.
Yeah, so this is their page. Basically, they have helped clean up 2 to 5% of the current plastic that is being put out in Ghana, from what it looks like. And man, it's insane. About 50% of their plastic ends up either in the land or ocean, just out in the streets or the ocean. It's crazy. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And I kept thinking, like, damn, it's pretty cool in the sense where no bag will ever be the same.
Yeah.
No bag will be the same. You guys, if you're interested in looking at stuff like this, they actually have an Etsy page where you can order the stuff. What do you think about that, Jay? Does it still sound like a guy trying to make money off of?
Would you buy a trashy bag? Is what he's asking.
No, not necessarily would you buy one, but do you still think that this is someone taking advantage? I don't. Because he wants to solve the problem.
I think people not like me should give opinion on this. I think more richer and more famous people, more influencers need to get these bags and start making them more popular. That's gonna blow up his business. They've been doing this
since 2007.
Yeah, if people truly cared about this enough, they would have, there's so many influencers out there that can influence this, and then buying this tote, for example, to go to the grocery store, right? Like, $20 for a tote to the grocery store. Now, I don't know if I would spend that kind of money on it. You know what I mean? But that's just me.
That's just, you're just looking at it in a sense as a normal tote for the grocery store.
Sorry, guys. Let me step away for 2 seconds.
You're just looking at it as a normal tote for the grocery store. Like, in a sense where now this $17 is going towards actual cause. You know what I mean? And you're getting something out of it.
Bag, though. That's a lot of fucking bags recycled.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, apparently they make some good stuff. Like, it's not material. Shit quality.
Yeah. But I also understand it takes it because they're doing it in Africa, right? So they have to ship it and stuff like that. So,
I remember seeing these bags back then. I don't know like how they made them, but in Cuba, I remember seeing these type of bags.
Yeah, man, they reuse and recycle plastic.
Like sacco. You know what I'm talking about?
Huh?
Like actually even here, the rice, the bag. It's packaged.
The door.
The bag.
And look at it completely.
The bag that rice is packaged in, it's very thick. So
it's kind of like that
Cuba,
plastic weave.
Cut the rice bags and they would make bags out of them. I think that's where I remember seeing.
Well, I've seen people make the flip flops out of old tires and things like that. There's a lot of that that's going on in the world.
Third world country ingenuity.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a good idea. But then again, the guy that started the recycling business within this area in Tampa is a multi-millionaire now.
So what do you? But let me ask you this, Jay. And I'll give you the question in a different form. What do you think about the idea of how this became about, which is basically mixing nonprofit and for-profit businesses, right? In the sense where like Tom's, the shoes Tom's.
Yeah, Tom's.
Same thing, right? It's mixing nonprofit and for-profit because they.
I've done a research on Tom's.
So myself, they're the creators of the 1-for-1 model. Which the guy's name is Blake Mayowski.
Yeah, so one shoe if you buy, the kid gets a shoe for
exactly.
free. Yeah.
He actually came about this idea when he was in Argentina.
Yep.
He was in Argentina.
But he goes to one of the South American countries. That's who makes them in South. It's made in South.
I don't know
American
where,
countries.
but I saw that when I was doing research on him because part of the homework was take a look at trashy bags, which is the example the teacher gave us, learn about it, report on it, boom, and then give us your own example. He wanted us to find our own example of social entrepreneurship.
Right? Yeah, it makes sense.
And so looking into Tom's, he found out he wanted to do that being in Argentina and seeing all these kids that didn't have shoes, and because they didn't have shoes, aren't able to go to school. They don't have clean water and all these things. And so he actually expanded beyond just providing shoes, and he actually helps provide clean water, and they started a glasses thing.
Yeah.
They help provide eye care. And then in 2018, he donated $5 million into helping reduce gun violence.
That's cool. Cool.
But like I said, but give me your thoughts, because like I said, when we started talking about social entrepreneurship before the pod, you're like, it sounds like a scam, and I kind of agree with you.
It sounds like a scam because most of the time now that I started, like, when you say that, I equate that to ESG, because a lot of the big companies try to go that route now, the ESG right now. If you put in ESG, it's the ethical something or another. Companies have that.
ESG Africa.
No, not necessarily Africa. Just do ESG. ESG.
Like a lot of shit's gonna pop up for just ESG.
If anything, just explains what
environmental, social, and corporate governance.
Yeah. So ESG. So it's basically like if you type in who are the leading ESG companies in the world. Top 10 or leading, whatever. Sustainability leaders. This is just.
These are podcasts.
Yeah. So just do top 10 ESG.
There's
companies.
one right there. IBDs.
Yep. Microsoft is one of them. BMW.
IBD's 100 best ESG companies for 2023.
There you go.
So there you got Microsoft, Applied Materials, Woodard, MasterCard. Those are some of the bigger ones. Marathon Petroleum, NVIDIA, Bungie, Adobe.
And ESG includes everything, right? Like ESG includes not only like environmental part, the social part, and then the governance part, right? Like the social part is like, diversity and things like that. And I think they hide a lot of it because it's a tough call, right? Because we do have part of ESG is also just to give an idea what it is. Part of ESG is also affirmative action, right? And you all know what the affirmative action. If you don't, I can go into it a little more, but it doesn't matter. But a lot of times they push this to the brink, right? Like to the limit, and a lot. I think what this does, it hinders you as a business owner hiring the right people for the job.
Yeah, but
right. So
well, actually, I'm gonna ask, why do you say that?
Because for example, if you get two candidates and they come in an interview with you and you like one of the candidates better than the other one, but then you have to hire the other candidate because you have to meet your ESG numbers.
I get you, like the DEI thing we talked about last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's something else, but
that's part of it, right? Like so what they're doing is they're manipulating the social aspect of humans. When you manipulate the social aspect of humans, the biology, because it's a balance, right? And I saw Jordan Peterson talk about this, and he was talking about within the relationships of men and women, right? There's a social interaction between men and women. There's also a biological interaction between men and women, and they have their own biologies. But when you start governing the social aspect, the biological aspect starts going up through the charts. Because if you lower this has to go up to keep it in balance, right?
Okay.
So anytime you do these kind of things and you artificially try to govern something, it throws everything off balance. Everything gets thrown off balance. Now, I'm not saying don't save the planet, and I'm not saying discriminate against people, right? What I'm saying is could be done in a better way. For example, if we're talking about hiring, I would say no names, no extracurricular activity, just a resume.
But like we talked about, you still got to see the person,
and then
you're still gonna have a in-person interaction.
I had this idea actually in college. I was asked the same question. You don't see the person you don't see them in person. You have a voice interview with them, right? But their voice is changed completely. It doesn't sound anything like what they sound. Whether it's a female, male, whatever race it is, however, whatever accents they have, you don't have that.
But I think part of the hiring process is seeing someone in person and seeing if they have any weird quirks or anything that you wouldn't want to hire someone with.
Weird quirks, wouldn't want to hire someone with. No, I understand that, but you can. With nowadays, you can do all that. With as much of deep fakes we have and things like that we have, you can put it in a way where you can see how they move, how their eyes blink, and things like that. I mean, for crying out loud, they created Gollum for Lord of the Rings, right? From that guy became the Gollum, right? Like they're in the suit. You'll be able to do this without revealing who the actual person is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think doing something like that where it's completely anonymous when you're hiring someone will remove any bias that we have.
I just think that the more you try and make it anonymous, the more you are going to make it harder to weed out certain things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of mistakes made along the way.
You're right. There's no good answer to things, but we've tried one thing and it's not really working. So let's try something else, right? So.
Yeah, but then this something else you're talking about trying would involve a whole lot of money to kind of to make the infrastructure.
No,
yeah,
it would
because
just
all these
take
businesses
one
would
company,
have to adopt this.
It would take just one company doing that kind of hiring, like 10% of their hirees do it that way, and they see who performs better. And I can guarantee you those people that they'll hire anonymously will perform 10 times better, and no one is going to care about what they look like, what they represent, what their ideas are, you know?
I like your idea. I just I'm not sure.
It's going to be hard to execute, but it's possible.
The execution, I think, is going to be a bitch.
Yeah, but nothing good ever happens easy, right? Like if you want the best for your company, then it's gonna be hard, just like everything else, right? So
all right, long lost ship found in desert. Laden
I know
with
Miggy
gold.
was pissed. We didn't go over this last time, so
I mean, that's pretty fucking cool that you're
It
just
is
walking
super
in the
fucking
desert
cool.
and you just find a ship with gold.
yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Where was this found?
I think you can
The
keep.
discovery of a ship that disappeared 500 years ago and was found in a desert in southwest Africa with gold coins aboard has been one of the most exciting archaeological finds of recent years. The Bum Jesus, or the Good Jesus, was a Portuguese vessel that set sail from Lisbon, Portugal on Friday, March 7th, 1533. How did you know? Its fate was unknown until 2008 when its remains were discovered in the desert of Namibia.
It's in the books. What do you
during
mean there's
diamond mining operations near the coast of African nation. When it sank in the fierce storm, it was on its way to India laden, with treasures like gold and copper ingots. 2,000 pure gold coins and 10,000s of pounds of copper ingots were discovered on the Bum Jesus, almost all intact. It is speculated that the Bum Jesus sank when it was pulled too close to shore in a storm off the coast of Namibia, causing the ship's hull to collide with a rock and lean over, capsizing the vessel. As the coastline waters receded, the Bum Jesus reemerged in the desert.
I want to know how back in the day, now we have GPS, right? Now we got GPS.
Stars.
And so they use stars to
Yeah,
make
they
sure
had
they were
this-
taking the path. But let me ask
they
you
had
this.
this special instrument.
No, I
will
get
look
that.
At the stars.
Using stars to
Bro,
kind
I
of make
don't
sure
even
you're
fucking
on course.
trust a map or a GPS. How fucking crazy do you have to be to actually trust
Exactly.
just the theory?
And that and,
It's
and,
not a
and not
theory.
only this.
No, obviously it's not a fucking
Galileo
theory now,
proved that it's not
but
a
back
theory.
Not only this, but
back
listen.
then they didn't have fucking electricity. They had a little lantern.
Well, no, because
No,
when you're looking at stars, you need a complete darkness because they look through this special. It's a tool. Like go into
But the
star navigation tool, old star navigation
ready.
tool.
But
You'll see.
listen to this though.
Mm-hmm.
You have to rely on the guy that made it
Yes.
to bring back the information to then tell you how to do it again.
Well, no. So every ship had one of these items on there. Like, obviously people started creating maps, right? Like the maps were important, so they always had a map. But this tool right there, they had it in hand, and they would point at the stars and then see the star alignments, and then they say, okay, well, we need to be heading this way.
I get what you're
always
saying,
align the
but
same way.
they have to be going off of some kind of information.
Yes,
base of
a
information.
star map.
Right.
A star map.
But they had to first. How much trial and error was done?
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of star maps, because if the star map is wrong, there's always some motherfucker that's gonna come out. Ha! They went wrong. This is the correct one. Here's the proof. So they're always updated. There was always a V.
But I'm saying, right, to get
1.3,
to get to that point, imagine the trial and error. How many ships
It
were
was like the
fucking
new-
Well, no,
sank?
it
It was
wasn't
like
the
the new
ships.
iPhone. Hey, bro, you got the new
No,
iOS.
the star maps were done way before the ships. This was done like BC.
Yeah, but
Like
to
in
have
time of
to understand,
Egyptians and shit.
I get what you're saying, but that's moving over land. to understand how to move over water is different. It's gonna be different.
No, you just follow the same stars as you would follow on moving on the land.
I get what you're saying. Follow it through the route, but when you're moving through water, it's not that simple.
What do you mean? It's very simple.
No, it's not. In the sense where I guess if you're moving over the
When
big
you're
oceans, it can.
I
But
guess what he's saying is when you're only focusing on stars, it doesn't matter what.
Correct.
Like what you
What's
do.
your
You're
terrain?
Still going the same direction.
I get what you're saying.
What you're
But
saying
is to understand
it's in the
that
water. You lose the horizon. There's a lot of factors that fuck with your mind. and your
Perception,
brain.
yeah.
perception, and also, let's say you're following the star map,
Yeah.
right? Hey, okay, Columbus is going on this ship this month. We have another ship set for next month too. We have the map set out. Okay, go. Boom. On the way there, Columbus is following his star map, and he hits a big fucking rock in the water
Yeah.
that he didn't see.
Yeah.
Boom.
That
His
happened a
ship
lot.
sank. His ship sank,
That's
right?
exactly what happened.
That
here.
happened a lot.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. His ship sank. How are they gonna let the other motherfucker know
They're
that
not.
when he's on his way
They'll
to
see
not hit
him.
that rock?
They'll
You know what I
see
mean?
him.
That's what I'm saying. There's
They're
a lot
not.
of trial and error that had to have gone into
They'll
this.
see it, but they work.
You might lose 2 or 3 ships.
Two or
before they
three?
figure it out, you
I don't know if a lot more than two
People,
or three.
they're
I
like,
think.
it's been a
It's
couple
like-
of months. Columbus ain't back. Like
It's
something
like when
happened.
you're
you
backing
know?
up your car, right? You'll know you reach the maximum distance that you can go when you actually hit something.
Yeah, put that man's face on there.
Yeah, when you hit something in a boat,
And this
it's too
tool,
late.
this tool actually accounts for star movement in the sky as well. Like there's a set, like you said it. I don't know how to use it properly. Like you need to be able to use this properly. There's a whole way of using it properly. But
got old Jimmy
go,
over
go
here
back up.
using
There's a drawing of it. One up, right? No, up. You're right there. The person looking at it. No, go to the. Yep. No,
Up,
What
draw,
the-
left, right
Yeah.
there, right there.
that right there. So they're looking through this, and then they can tell like the stars are here. They have moved this much, so we need to follow this path. You know, it's all by angles. It's math. Like you can't fucking go wrong with math. And this literally the reason. This is the reason why Earth is not fucking flat. Whoever says the Earth is flat, you're an idiot. Sorry, you are an idiot. Like
I agree.
this little tool proves that the Earth is not flat. You know.
So
So,
what happened to that money that they found?
So
all
I
that
know
gold.
United States is if you find treasure, 10% of it is yours.
Just
the-
10%.
Mm-hmm. But when you find treasure, bro, that's valued in like millions and hundreds of millions of dollars usually. So you end up with a big chunk of money in your pocket.
Yeah, because it's not like they're gonna take this gold, melt it down, and sell it for the price.
Yeah,
of
no,
gold.
it goes into museums. And
Yeah,
shit.
this is now
national treasure.
This is national treasure in the sense where it's like it's gonna become an exhibit somewhere in a museum,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah.
So Dr. Nolly's team also found a musket, which he estimated to be at least 500 years old, bits of metal which revealed the shipwreck was buried in the sand, and it also found compasses, swords, astronomical tools, cannons, and even a time capsule. Silver coins were also found. A time capsule. What is a time capsule?
It's you put some shit inside and you bury it usually deep down, and then in the future when they find it, they can look at it. It's just different things in it, like
okay.
I remember doing one in
Pictures and
school.
stuff.
Huh.
Like, oh, the kids 20 years from now are gonna open these, blah blah blah, right?
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think we opened one.
That's interesting.
I saw one where they had to.
I would do the same thing if I had a shit ton of money.
They put this time capsule from like the 30s, I think it was, in the corner, the bottom corner of this concrete building.
Mm-hmm.
And they took it out the other day. They literally had to like break open the slab of this building on the. It's like it was weird. It's like imagine you're walking on a corner on a building downtown, and it's just like that corner of concrete column right there on the bottom corner. It's like this really weird spot, and yeah, they had to literally take out the slabs.
How much is a time capsule, by the way? Look it up. How much did that thing cost right there? The one you have up.
I don't think they're gonna tell you. They don't care about that. I mean, you make a time capsule out of whatever. You can put it in a fucking box and bury it. You know. Yeah, they don't say.
Not Birmingham. Just do a time capsule.
But
without
they're
the
gonna give you
Birmingham-
such
Birmingham.
a weird variety,
What type of material do you want your capsule?
right? Wood, metal.
Let me just do time capsule and let it give it price. It's gonna give us a range most likely.
You get one for $30.
That's
Or
cheap.
yeah,
How
that's a
big
small
is it?
one. A little bit bigger one you can get for 90. It's the
Very
same little
small.
thing.
Go back. It's about $100.
20
I mean,
inches.
Wait, you can buy time capsules within this area here?
You order it on
Order
Amazon.
them on Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how
100
many
bucks?
people are ordering.
I don't
these,
know how
but-
much I would trust the Amazon one, Chinese, but
Yeah, just buy one on Temu.
Bro, it's gonna
Yeah,
go
that's
somewhere
even
and
worse.
just sit there.
Yeah. well, that's the whole thing, right? It will disintegrate, right? So
But not really. I mean, it's made out of metal, bro.
Yo,
You know how
Temu
many
was selling
thousands
some
of
wild
years?
shit. An ad came out for Temu, and it was just a really shitty picture of a rug, and some stock picture of a dog taking a shit on the rug. Like, what the fuck?
yeah,
Is that what you're selling?
Temu got all kinds of fucking. dumb
Yeah,
shit.
their ads are crazy. I be getting them too. They're all over.
there's
the place.
one
They
on-
don't make
one-
any sense.
One more article that or one at least look at this one more article here.
Which one?
It's with watches, bro.
Hey, yo,
'Cause we
we
haven't
been-
talked to watches yet.
We've been talking this long? No
Uh-huh.
way. I
Go
cap.
to the other side. Go to the other side. Yeah.
Damn.
Keep,
No, that's the shit.
they
I
look
not
like a
open it
panda
up?
in Discord group if you pull it up.
Thought I
Yeah,
pulled it
right
up.
there. You did pull this up. Yeah, so this I thought was super interesting.
Just watches?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
7 fascinating Seiko concept watches at the Seiko what?
Seiko
Incredible
Incredible.
specialized watch exhibition. So Seiko created these concept watches. And the other day I saw these couple of these other concept watches that they made for Japanese after Japanese cocktails when you were out around the town. They looked really weird, but these are kind of cool.
I want it.
That's disgusting.
That's a fucking.
What is
It
it?
reminds me of
Dedicated
MBNF.
Hide and Seek watch by Masamori Kawamura. Hide and Seek watch. That's interesting. Like meaning it's like hidden or something.
You can't see.
Yeah.
You can't see the time.
So you have to like open it somehow to see it, and it's like
That's so
code.
Annoying.
Like you have, yeah, it is
And
pretty fucking
bothersome.
annoying, but it's cool, right? It's a concept, right? Yeah. So it's So you get to
Wait,
open
it
this.
has a lid. Cow players. What is? How does this work? I'm
It's
interested.
the lid is probably like a little safe. You have to do the numbers to open
A
it.
dial scene with hidden players. It's like a game on it.
This is a hide and seek watch.
Oh, it's got a timer on it. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go hide for like 10 seconds. Oh, and the design displays a 10-minute time limit.
Okay.
Seiko had Mr. Masaru Takayama, the president of the Japan Hide and Seek Association, praised this concept. The fuck? They have a hide and seek association?
Yeah, bro.
Is this a whole entire sport?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say, can we go for a second and please look into this Japanese hide and? It's a Japan hide and seek.
Well, there's
association.
apparently one in the United States as well.
No, this is something else.
This is a disease.
Yeah, look up. Put Japan in front of it.
Yeah, let's do Japan. They got weird games over there. Hide and seek _ PR.
It's a clothing
Clothing
brand.
company.
Okay.
That one is a clothing. Is this Japanese though? This could be just a clothing company with a name.
Yeah, Japan. See, it says Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah, Shibuya. Tokyo.
Okay.
But wait.
Yeah,
No, I don't think
there's
this is
more.
it.
Yeah, I don't think this is it.
Put how it says in the thing, Japan Hide and Seek Association. There we go. Hide and seek tournament, motherfucker. Yo, I want to know how this works.
What?
Oh, never mind. I know how it works.
How?
It's a bunch of Japanese motherfuckers dressed up in cosplay hiding around the city.
There's still
Every
some.
year the
I'm
town
sure
of
there's still
Yumura
somebody been hiding
Onsen-
for 10 years.
Motherfucking dead.
Every year, the town of Yumura Onsen is the stage for the National Hide and Seek Tournament. Moyo is the phrase for the Oni to go looking for the players who are hiding. You can hear the seekers' joyful shouts when they find the hiders in this unique event held every year. When those hiding are found, the Oni takes them to the home base and the participant draws a lot. If you're lucky, you can get a special prize. If you're unlucky, you may have penalty game with a range of tickets for hotels and local specialities. Every participant can enjoy this event.
That's cool. All right, go back to the watches.
Yeah, we go back to watch it now. Just curious on hide and seek events.
All right, so then was this watch, which is
Murakami? No.
It reminds me of the Murakami, yeah. The
Pattern,
Pattern Makers watch by
Kotaro Usugami.
Usugami joined Seiko in 2016 and has been engaged in development of watches for licensed brands as well as contributing to advanced design projects, meaning development of a design before creating the final production design. Usugami-san explains, creative people often wear their favorite clothes, acquire tool akin to those used by admired professionals, decorate their tools, and invest extra effort in seemingly trivial details that don't directly impact the creative process. Tools, beyond their functional role, possess the unique ability to inspire the desire to create naturally. This leads to watches, as he adds. Similarly, a watch, while primarily serving the function of timekeeping, is a familiar accessory that significantly influences our emotions when worn. I pondered whether we could create a new value by connecting this characteristic of the watch to the act of creation.
So I guess it's when you put like stickers and shit on your computer, laptop. Oh, like okay, so this is for like somebody that's sewing, so they can put those pins on their watch, because they'll have that like a lot. I don't know if you ever seen it. People that do like suits and stuff like that, they'll have this little thing strapped, and they'll just take one.
It's the pin cushion.
That's a cool concept. See, that's practical.
Yeah, that is actually pretty cool in the sense where now someone can actually use that in their day-to-day as someone who sews and stuff.
The Sukiyaki watch by Akira Yoshida. Expensive dive watches with rotating timing bezels and even more valuable chronographs with 30-minute totalizers have long been subject to insider jokes in watch enthusiast circles, pointing out how 1,000-meter dive watches and vertical clutch chronographs are basically only ever used as egg timers by their owners. While the Seiko Sukiyaki watch by Akira Yoshida is an ode to what Yoshida-san describes as the dish I adore most in the world. Yoshida joined Seiko in 2015, first designing Seiko and Prospect watches for the European and U.S. markets. It's a 2019 Henning Grant Seiko watches.
Okay.
Yeah, let's take a look at that again. I think it's pretty cool. I like how different it is. I like that little orange camo print it has. Like it looks like it has a reversible strap.
It looks like a Bape watch.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit, but I think those are different cities.
Over 150 years ago, Sukiyaki spread throughout the nation during Japan's rapid pursuit of westernization, ultimately resulting in the definitive recipe for Sukiyaki. And so Yoshida-san pondered the question, how could someone truly relish the exquisite flavors of Sukiyaki? In his contemplation, he grappled with how he could contribute to his beloved dish, fueled by his profound affection for Sukiyaki. The solution
Pull up what's a
clear.
Sukiyaki, first of all.
It's this right here. It's like a soup.
It's like a ramen type of deal?
Yeah.
Bowl of ramen?
Ramen.
A couple different meats, a little bit of veggies. I don't know what that is.
Tofu.
Yeah.
Onions, mushrooms.
Doesn't look like something I'd like.
Ramen.
Not a big fan of soupy stuff.
I'm not a big fan of soups either. But
I like them. I like ramen.
I haven't had a good bowl of ramen, so I gotta try it out.
Ramen, bro. Ramen. If you're gonna compare it to Vietnamese bowl of soup, ramen ain't got shit on top of Vietnamese bowl of soup. Vietnamese bowl of soup will win every time.
I don't like pho, so
yeah.
And that's just because of one of the herbs and seasonings. It's one of the herbs they use.
Do that 40. Go down. Yeah. So this Panda watch.
I like the case on it. If it didn't have those ears,
yeah,
it would actually be a wearable watch in a sense. But I guess for a girl, yeah,
no, for a child.
Yeah.
A girl or a child, yeah.
Yeah. The guys begin to Pandas, I can tell.
What is this? Exclusive watch
for masking tape enthusiasts by Yugo Hirashi.
Masking tape enthusiast.
So it's like the pin cushion watch, but for tape.
Yeah.
You can put a roll of tape on it. Yo, I think that's just a little too gimmicky.
Go down.
You can put your own roll of tape.
How do you even come up with the idea of putting a roll of tape on there? Like, what's the point of it? That's kind of cool.
This is where we get to something pretty cool.
Seiko watch exclusively for sunny men by Yu Ishihara.
It's sun timer.
Damn, so you gotta whip this bitch out and align it with the sun to get the time?
Yeah.
Nah.
That's why you have that green thing to align it. To align it even.
Yeah, you got a compass on there to make sure you're looking the right way and shit.
Yeah, see? Boom. Boom.
See, this is like a cool statement piece.
Yeah, this is like,
right?
You have a Patek? Well, I have this. Do you have that?
Right.
I don't like it because it's a watch. It's supposed to give me time. There's so many easier ways.
See, but when you start talking about,
if I don't see myself in public,
ready?
Just fucking.
When you start talking about watches like this, Mickey, you don't give a fuck what the time is.
Yeah. This watch is there just to flex in front of your friends. I got this watch.
And you know what's funny? I would just, because I would never use it as is. Nah. I would take the compass off.
Well, I wouldn't even touch it. I would just keep it in the
No,
box.
I would. Oh, fuck it. I'd take the compass off and just wear it as like a cool thing. They're like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, it's a sun timer. Oh, how does that work? That's how they told time in the back of the day.
Don't you just keep
Show
the
me how it
fucking compass
works.
on there, bro.
Nah, I don't have time right now.
What's that one? I actually like that one.
Okay,
a
now
lot.
we get into something more basic. It looks like Seiko ambidextrous watch. Ambidextrous
for both hands.
But how for both? Oh, they made it in both versions. Okay.
Oh wait, what?
Oh shit.
So when you flip it, oh okay.
That's fucking sick. In the sense
That's
where that
cool.
means that the dial is like a little. All those little stripes you see is like
They're
little triangles.
Yeah.
And so on one side it's painted one way, and one side is painted
That's
the other.
cool, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
That is pretty nice, and I like the. Can you go up, Mickey? I want to see what's. I want to actually look into this watch a little bit. This one I like, and you see the bezel isn't just flat. It's like a.
Yeah.
It's got those little edges to it, which is really nice. It reminds me of that Christopher Ward, the 12. Scroll up, Mickey. That's it.
Sit on that.
Okay,
That's
go look at that up a little bit. I want to see this watch. I want to see what did they put into it. Go start at the top where it starts.
Raise the. Oh.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Unleashing the potential of ambidextrous individuals is the drive behind Kento Ito, who has experience designing home appliances, furniture, miscellaneous goods, information devices, and more at a product design firm and an information device manufacturer. He joined Seiko in 2018 and now designs Astron watches. Ito shares, I was at a bowling alley one fateful day with a friend who was wearing his watch on his left hand. However, in the next moment, he switched it to his right hand and bowled with his left hand. Before the 10 pins even fell, my brain was jolted by a powerful shock. Normally, right-handed people wear watches on their left hands, and left-handed people wear them on their right hands. At that moment, these stereotypes were shattered.
You don't have to go more. It's
question
fine.
in Ito-san. No, you don't want me to read it.
I mean, if you want, it's fine. But just up to you.
This raised a question in Ito-san. Does the hand that wears the watch significantly influence our thoughts, abilities, and actions? Perhaps the relationship is like that of the chicken and the egg. And so, Seiko's ambidextrous watch is designed for ambidextrous individuals as a tool to allow them to undertake self-innovation. His expert assistant is Dr. Toshinori Kato, neurologist, doctor of medicine, president of Kato Brain Company, Ltd., who adds, while a watch can limit movement, the idea of cross-dominant watch aligns with my beliefs in evenly utilizing every section of the brain through training. Wearing and reading the time on a watch engages memory, comprehension, as well as visual and motor systems. Moreover, you can alter the way your brain functions simply by switching the side on which you wear your watch. Perhaps not many of us watch enthusiasts know that using the opposite hand to that wearing the watch not only changes the section of the brain in use, but also directs attention to the hand wearing the watch. That's cool. I didn't know that. Having a watch that can change its look in terms of its color and form enhances the clarity of awareness in the process of changing the watch from one hand to the other, creating a stimulating effect on the brain. Most importantly, though, Dr. Kato says, I get the feeling that this is the sort of watch that really should have existed from a long time ago. I sense that many cross-dominant individuals are often deep thinkers, and by wearing this watch, they may be able to tap into an incredible new way of using the brain.
First thing I'll say is that it's also a beautiful watch, which I think is really cool. That such a weird concept, actually produced such a nice thing. And this reminds me of the whole Alzheimer's thing that I was telling you about. That they say if you're prone to something like that, you shouldn't take the same route to work every day. You should try and do things differently, trying to get out of routine. It helps the brain stay active. This would be another one of those things. Like he said, it will cause you to, your brain's going to pay more attention to the watch now. You're wearing it on the other hand a little bit, this and that.
I think how they did it, those hands are not there. It's just a one piece. It's like a helicopter.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm noticing that now too.
It's like a helicopter. So one side is black and the other
so
side
it'll
is
directly,
white.
instantly tell the time. You don't have to change it.
You don't have to change it.
And
So if you change it once, it changes everything.
Yeah, and so the moment you swap it to your other hand, it'll tell the correct time instantly.
Yeah.
As long as you know how to read it.
Well, you know how to read it because it doesn't change. Because it's 180 degrees, so he's gonna show you on the other side the same exact.
You have
thing.
to look. You have to understand. Okay, so right now the black hands are marking at 10 whatever, right? and then on the other side 10 whatever. But you have to understand which ones to look at,
Well,
which side.
I think the black markings are for the black side, and white markings are for the white
That's
side.
correct.
No.
Really? I would think it's opposite for the contrast.
Again, you can set it to whatever you want it to be.
Right. That is true. And you read it however you want. That's
Yeah.
actually very true. You're very right about that.
Yeah.
You set it how you want and you read it how the fuck you want.
It would make sense if you have the white, shown on a black, because you can see it better.
Yeah, just how the Seiko sign is,
Yeah.
right?
You don't even have numbers in these, so if you wanted
Yeah,
6 to be 12,
That's what it is.
That's
yeah.
the whole purpose of this watch.
And
it's
everything
fucking
is-
awesome. I want it.
Everything is exactly the same.
I fucking want it.
how much is it?
It's a concept watch. They didn't produce this,
No.
sadly.
There's
I
not
mean,
too many ambidextrous
We can,
people out there.
yeah, this doesn't.
'Cause
I mean,
most people, it doesn't matter. Like, you
this-
would really like to, have to
This would
really
be
like the
something
black
pretty
color.
cool that Grand Seiko could maybe produce and make some money with.
Yeah, I think Seiko is going to be the one to produce this if they do.
You think so?
Yeah.
Let's look it up. I want to see.
Go to that 40 courses of, and then we close it out with that. So this is a list of, guys, self-improvement stuff. This is the list of 40 top courses from Harvard that you can take online for free, right? So, which is kind of cool. If you read a couple of these courses,
Yeah, we'll just go randomly through
Ancient
them.
masterpieces of world literature, applications of tiny ML, building personal resilience, managing anxiety and mental health. CS50's Computer Science for Business Professionals. CS50's Introduction to Artificial Intelligence with Python. CS50's
That's cool.
Introduction to Computer Science. CS50's Introduction to Cybersecurity. CS50's Introduction to Game Development. CS50's Introduction to Programming with Python. So a lot of programming.
data science.
Looks like there's some
same thing.
machine
A lot of
learning
data
too.
Science.
Machine learning, productivity tools, helping with visualization, data science basics.
See, entrepreneurship in emerging economies.
Uh,
That's that ESG
lead-
stuff right there.
Leaders of learning,
Mm-hmm.
leadership, creating
happiness.
public value. Go ahead.
Masterpiece of world literature, modern masterpieces of world literature, remote work revolution for everyone, Shakespeare's life and work, statistics and R, super Earths and life, the health effects of climate change, the path to happiness, what Chinese philosophy teaches us about the good life, and using Python for research.
Yeah, definitely some solid like self-improvement stuff
Yeah.
there, and especially if these are free. I don't see why not if you're looking for something like this.
Yeah, if you want to code or start understanding AI and things like that.
From
so-
all over. I mean, there's kind of things from top to bottom there. From
Yeah, it's not
personal
Harvard is not the
leadership
only one.
skills to coding, like you said.
Yeah, so Harvard is not the only one. A lot of them, Cambridge has it. Like a lot of
MIT,
these
Yale.
institutions that put it. MIT has them. Yeah, all of them have it. But anyway, guys,
Yeah, we went long today. I like it. Thank you guys for coming.
well, another successful episode in. Thanks for the likes, comments,
It's a good one.
subscribes, shares, all that good jazz. Again, Vitality, guys, just want to mention it for the last time.